My name is Andy Pilgrim. In this video, I'm going to address the dangers associated with drivers street racing and doing driving stunts on public roads. Every driver knows, public roads are no place for street racing or driving stunts. These activities are both illegal and potentially dangerous, not only to the drivers, but also to passengers, occupants of other vehicles, and innocent bystanders. My hope is, if I give you the straight scoop here, you'll take this information, process it, and then use it to help with your driving decisions. Driving is a skill I work hard at every day. Doing it well doesn't only mean vehicle control. Great drivers certainly know how to control their vehicle in all driving conditions, but there's so much more. This video is designed to add some new information to your driving knowledge database. I've been working in the field of traffic safety education for over 20 years. During that time, I've spoken to literally hundreds of thousands of students, driver education teachers, parents, and corporate employees, plus produced numerous traffic safety education videos, currently used by thousands of teachers in their classrooms. I think it's very helpful to have a little background on the person speaking to you, especially in this particular area of traffic safety. I was born and raised in the UK. My interest in cars and motorcycles started when I was very young. I used to dream of maybe one day becoming a race car driver, but racing costs money, and my family certainly didn't have the kind of money to put me into go-karts or race cars. I quickly realized something. I'd better work hard in school. After a couple of years, my professional life shifted from the UK to the USA after being offered a programming job. I've been living and working in the US ever since, becoming a US citizen in 1998. My daily transport was an old motorcycle. It was only after two of my good friends got killed in street crashes I began to realize a racetrack was really the only place to find the limits, with a motorcycle or a car. Car racing for me began kind of the same way as motorcycle racing. After 3 years of saving up as best I could, I bought a second-hand race car, which was actually street legal, and entered some official races. I drove that old race car to the track because I had no truck or trailer, tried not to crash it, and worked on it myself. After a couple of years and some good results, I was given my first opportunity as a paid race driver. The rest, as they say, is kind of history. I've been a paid race driver now for over 30 years, won 5 championships and over 70 races in my professional racing career, which actually still continues today. I want to thank the NCM Motorsports Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky for allowing me to use their great facility to make this PSA. Actually, we're in their race garage right now. I'm going to break this up into 3 sections. In this first section, I want to talk about the differences in stopping distances between common vehicle types, something I believe doesn't get enough coverage in driver education. You're going to see a pickup truck, a mid-size SUV, and a sports car used for this demonstration. As you can see, from 60 miles an hour, the pickup truck stopped in 153 feet. We use an average of 3 stops per vehicle to get an average stopping distance. The SUV stopped in an average of 126 feet. And the sports car stopped in 85 feet. The average length of a car is around 15 feet. As you can see from the graphic, from 60 miles an hour, the sports car stopped 5 lengths shorter than the pickup truck, and the SUV was somewhere in the middle. You might question why these vehicles have such different stopping distances. And just to be clear, there is nothing wrong with any of these vehicles. The differences primarily comes down to vehicle weight and how much tire is in contact with the road. There is no getting around physics. I hope this information helps you think more about safe following distances, the danger of tailgating, plus gives you a better understanding of vehicle stopping distances relative to vehicle size. In this section, I'm going to address speed limits, speeding, excessive speed, driver perception time, driver reaction time, and stopping distances. The stopping distance numbers you'll see in this section are industry standard stopping distances. The stopping distance you saw in the last section was shorter and achieved using professional drivers. The reason for the longer brake distance? Well, believe it or not, over 80% of all drivers do not fully utilize their vehicle's braking potential in an emergency braking situation. This leads to the longer stopping distances and to more crashes. The longer stopping distances for the average driver are used in this section. Street racing or excessive speed on public roads, where there are countless traffic variables, is an incredibly high-risk choice for any driver. Speed limits are set by engineering experts, based mainly on how many potential traffic variables are present along a particular stretch of road. They are designed to give an attentive driver, traveling at the posted speed limit, the time to perceive or see a developing traffic problem, react to it, and then have the time to stop or evade that problem. I was testing a couple of Ford Mustang Shelby GT500s at the NCM Motorsports Park for a car magazine when I had the idea to possibly use them in this educational video. Thanks to Ford Performance and the Ford Driving Skills for Life group for allowing me to use the GT500s. As you can see from the drone shot, we set up a 400-foot main road and 2 side streets with stop signs to create an intersection. I also placed a trailer in one corner of the intersection to create a driver blind spot. In the real world, the trailer could be a part delivery truck, storage pod, sign, building, foliage, etc. On our main road, the cones are spaced 50 feet apart initially, then 25 feet apart for the last 100 feet prior to the intersection. On the top graphic, you'll see we made the cones as orange circles. The red car will always be the vehicle pulling onto the main road from a stop sign at the intersection. The orange car is used for variable speed runs on the main road, approaching the intersection. You can also see there's a visibility line at around 125 feet. The diagonal line goes from a driver's sight point to the point around the truck, and that's his visibility limit. He can't see further back up the main road than around 125 feet. As you can see, perception, reaction, braking zone boxes just appeared in front of the orange car. Those boxes represent distances, and they will increase in size as the speed of the orange car increases. The perception and reaction time boxes represent 3/4 of a second each. That's the time an average fully attentive driver takes to perceive and react to a traffic situation. The braking zone box will represent the amount of distance the orange car will take to come to a complete stop. Just to confirm, the main road has a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. This first speed run will show the orange car at 30 miles an hour. We have professional driver Bob in the red car helping us. As you can see, I'm holding the orange car at the visibility limit line. Bob has already started to pull out because it was safe for him to do so. He couldn't see the orange car and he's pulling out. As you can see, because the orange car is doing the posted speed limit of 30 miles an hour, the perception, reaction, and braking zone distances are safe. Bob safely continues through the intersection. Due to the increased speeds from this point on the main road, you will not see Bob and the red car trying to negotiate the intersection. It will be open as we drive through it. The orange car is now doing 45 miles an hour, and we have it on hold just to make the explanation here. The perception and reaction times are still 3/4 of a second, but as you can see, the distances have increased. The braking zone has also increased, and remember, that is the distance required for the orange car to come to a complete stop from 45 miles an hour. Again, we're holding the orange car at the visibility limit line. Bob has already started to move, but as you can see, already the braking zone distance is cut in half. Even though the driver of the orange car does have the ability to perceive and react, they do not have the ability to now stop before hitting Bob and the red car. Impact speed would probably be around 30 miles an hour in the driver's door of the red car, which would cause a very serious injury or potential fatality. On this run, the orange car will be doing 60 miles an hour. That is pretty excessive speed. And as you can see, the perception and reaction boxes are longer, but they're still 1.5 seconds. The braking zone is also been extended for the speed. We've stopped it quickly here to show you that even though the orange car is 300 feet out, it would need all of this for perception, reaction, and braking to come to a complete stop if they saw Bob right now. So Bob has started to pull out, but as you can see, there is time to perceive, time to react, but no time to brake. This would probably be a 50-mile-an-hour impact into the driver's door, and I think poor old Bob would not be with us anymore. In this run, the orange car will be doing 90 miles an hour. You can see the braking distance required is almost 400 feet. The perception and reaction time distances are off the screen. You will get to see them in a second here. We stopped the orange car here to show you that the perception and reaction distances for the 1.5 seconds takes the car right to the collision point. There would be no mitigation from 90 miles an hour if Bob was to pull out here, but Bob hasn't started pulling out yet. He's just about to. I think it's pretty obvious what would have happened to poor old Bob in that crash, and probably the driver of the orange car and anyone who may have been with them in their car. We showed you one type of scenario crash at an intersection, but there are numerous. And as you can see from the vehicles here, there are head-on collisions, there are T-bone crashes, there are single car crashes. And it's so important to realize that speed is the biggest factor in the severity of an impact. Our roads are massively more dangerous these days due to drivers choosing to look at, manipulate, or talk to their smartphones. Distracted drivers will do the unexpected. They will pull out without looking or use only a glance and go. On the other side of that, if a speeding driver is also distracted, then any perception or reaction time to a changing traffic situation is almost impossible. It's only a matter of time before exceeding posted speed limits leads to tragedy. Speed limits are there for good reason. Don't let excessive speed take away your time and the chance to avoid a collision or crash. Poor driving decisions can have tragic consequences, but remember, even a conviction for street racing or stunting can stay with you forever and drastically impact the rest of your life. In this final section, I want to address drivers who choose to do driving stunts on public roads. I have been paid to perform stunts in cars and even on motorcycles for many years. I've performed them in TV commercials, for car magazines, and for charity events. The biggest issue with drifting or stunting a vehicle on public roads, apart from it obviously being illegal and dangerous, is the inability for a drifting or stunting driver to immediately react to a change in traffic conditions. Why? Because it takes time and distance to undrift a vehicle. You may not have the time or the distance. Only when the vehicle is back under full control can the driver attempt to avoid impact with another vehicle, maybe even a cyclist or a pedestrian. One note here, please never turn your vehicle traction control or stability control off on public roads. It's only a question of when, not if, there'll be a collision, crash, or potential tragedy. I hope you work hard to constantly develop your driving skills. They might save your life or someone else's life one day. The most important driving skills I use on public roads are eye scanning and situational awareness, and it is impossible to do either if you're distracted. Please remember, keeping your foot on the gas pedal is the choice of the driver. I'm a racer. I get it. It's easy to get caught up in the moment, but be that driver. The one who understands it's okay to back off the gas, to take a breath and slow it down. Be that driver who recognizes the corner looks good, but that spontaneous urge to drift is just not worth the risk to yourself, to passengers, and maybe innocent pedestrians you don't even know. Racing and stunting are activities to enjoy and practice in a controlled event space or at a racetrack facility. If you want to try your hand at racing, drifting, or stunting, there are numerous sanctioned groups, clubs, and organizations all over North America with events for beginners to experts. But please, never on public roads. It's all fine until it's not. And trust me, when it goes wrong, it never goes back. It's forever. The laws of physics never quit. I wish you all health, happiness, and safety.